like they're being obtuse about it on purpose or something. I don't know.
Hey, everybody. We've got a fun conversation going on here, but welcome to Hubitat Live, proof that it is live. That was Chuck Schwer. I'm Patrick Stuart. Tonight with me is Bruce Ravenel, Chuck Schwer, and Mike Maxwell. So thanks for joining us tonight for episode number 3. We are live, as obvious here. The live chat on YouTube is also a great place for you to interact with us. We're going to answer your questions at the end of the show, so feel free to ask questions at any time. We'll come back to them and answer as many as we can. So, quick mic check. Let's make sure everybody can be heard. So, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm great.
Excellent. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, there. I forgot to get to the 2-shot, so you couldn't see these folks. So we'll just do a little background check there. And then Chuck, thanks for joining us. I know you couldn't make it last week, or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, math.
2 weeks ago.
So There you go. So that's everybody. But hey, we've got an exciting show for you tonight. Mike's going to talk about some oldies but goodies, kind of a trip down amnesia lane, kind of a museum of motion sensors. It's exciting. And most importantly, we're going to see what that bunny thinks. But first, let's talk about some exciting things that we launched here at Hubitat. Before I get to the one that everybody wants to talk about. Shoot, I'm echoing. I want to talk about, we launched a new portal, and you can see it right here. So before the portal,
what everybody wants to talk about is portal.
Yeah, of course, everybody wants to talk about portal. Nobody wants to talk about portal, right? But we're going to talk about portal real quickly because there's a couple new things that are here. One is it's obviously a new redesign. It's consistent with the theme that we have going on the hub, and there's a new feature which is find hubs. And keeping in the theme of Hubitat Live, I'm going to go ahead and you can see it. Just found our Hubitat Live hub here, and because it's important to keep your stuff up to date, I realized I have not updated this hub. So you can actually see here we've got a platform update available. While I'm doing everything else, I'm going to do a live platform update here. So we're going to go ahead and download the latest available. And that's how easy it is to do the platform updates. But here's the new portal. So 2 things. One is the new discovery process, which we call Find Hubs, actually finds every hub that's on your network, and only the ones that are on your network. So these are the ones I currently have on my network. We have a new advanced discovery area where you can actually find them via MDNS, or if you know the MAC address and you can't find it on your network, you could try that by just putting the MAC address in there. Find the MAC address on the bottom of your hub. And also you can scan a network. So if you have multiple networks for some of those folks out there, you can certainly do that as well. But if you go ahead and actually log in, you'll actually have a new area called My Hubs. And My Hubs is important because this is now all of the hubs that are assigned to your account. So if I click on my home account here, these are the email addresses and the users that I have assigned to it. So you can see that I can add email addresses here. Now the reason this is important is because the next really exciting thing that we are about to show you guys is the mobile app. In order to log into the mobile app, you do need to add a user here. And that user just needs to be already registered and have a portal account created. There's one other thing I want to talk about with portal, and that's if you actually used a social media account. So if you remember the old portal, you had the ability to log in with a username and password, or you could use Facebook, Google, or Amazon. If you used one of those, you're going to need to come over to the new portal, and you're going to have to come into Migrate Social Media Account. And what you're going to want to do here is just enter your email address. It'll send you a code. You come back here, you enter that code with your email address. You're going to get a temporary password. You change your password, you're logged in, you're good to go. That's as simple as it is for hub migration. But enough about that, right? I mean, the most exciting thing that we wanted to talk about here is we launched a mobile app. I know most of you are probably looking for that, but let's go ahead and see if I can set this up here real quick. And you know, the neat thing about the mobile app is, you can actually, sorry, I'm distracted, shiny object syndrome. You can actually now, this is the mobile app. So I don't know if you can see this is an Android device, this is a Pixel 3. I'm gonna go ahead and launch it. And this is live, hopefully this will work quite well. And there it is, boom. You got instant access to your dashboard menus. I can come in here and choose the studio real quick, and the dashboard will load. We talked about dashboard last week, and now I can actually access my entire dashboard. I can even scroll around on the dashboard because this is a desktop dashboard. And that's dashboards. You can quickly change stuff. You can turn on or off lights here in the studio if I wanted to, but I'm not going to right now. We also have another feature in here called geofencing. Geofencing is a very simple way to put a point on a map and allow you to move in and out of that map. And if you move in and out of that map, it's going to update the settings. Let's go ahead and switch back here. And I'm going to go into my personal hub here real quick while the other hub is starting back up. So we're almost done with the upgrade there. And I'm going to go in and quickly find my Pixel device here. And so you'll have a mobile app device. And so here's all of the devices I have. And this happens to be my Pixel. And we'll see that I'm currently present. I sent a notification. That was my last notification. And there's another really cool feature in here is you can actually send push notifications. And if everything works right in the power of live TV, we'll see if this actually sends through. And of course, watch, it doesn't actually go through. Did I actually click it? Yeah, I did. Well, that's what you gotta love, a live demo. This worked a million times through this whole process. But let me show you how we can actually troubleshoot this. This is the settings area. Some people might think I did this on purpose. Oh, hey, it's not updating the window. Shoot, hang on one second.
Yeah, we're still back on Portal, Patrick.
I see that. Let me see if we can fix that. So talk amongst yourselves, guys. Why isn't that popping up? Oh, that's why. My entire system is frozen up. That's great. So, this is
Maybe it's time to go to Bunny Cam.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so I think we should be good.
Patrick, did you do that? Did you install that engineering build I gave you? What happened?
I think it's distinctly possible. I am actually running a beta build of this, so now you should see it. Now you should see my screen. This is actually the device that came in here. For some reason, my desktop capture sending over to the studio decided to die. So nothing Hubitat related. But so if I go into settings here, and this is the settings window, I can actually pick my hub again, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to scroll down to my Pixel 3, and that should re-register us. So hopefully, through the magic of television, I'm going to go ahead and pick this pin up, and I'm going to drag it outside of this. And we're going to hope like mad that actually updated. And what do you know? This is the great thing about demos, right? Is literally nothing is working right now. Oh, okay, there, at least we got a push notification to go through. So I got the push notification, so we're a little lagged behind here, but it did work. And let's go ahead and switch back here. And what we've got is you can actually see all of your events. And so I can see all of the events here. I can see when I present any notifications that I've sent. And most importantly, you can also, switch back here real quick. You can also go into something like dashboard here. And if you have your presence device added here, which, oh, I clicked the wrong dashboard. You can actually go into the presence device and you can actually see all of the history of your notifications right here in dashboard as well. So you can see that when I left, but also I can see all the notification texts that are coming in there too. So that's the current state of the mobile app. It's also available on iPhone, and it looks pretty much the same. When you log in, it'll bring up your dashboards. You can set a geofence, and you've got settings. So, and let's hope that my iPhone actually updates location as well.
So let's take a look at that real quick.
Because that's the fun feature, right? Is presence. So Patrick's iPhone, there we go. This is actually my daughter's old iPhone. So first of all, we'll send a text message or a test push message, and hopefully it'll load. Chuck, what's going on? I swear to God this was working. It's one of those demos never work right. This could be Mike's fault. I'm going to blame you, Mike, because the push notification isn't going through. But let's make sure that the location.
I don't have an iPhone, Patrick.
That's true. You don't.
Can't blame that one on me.
Okay. Well, we can at least show how. So you can. I don't know if you can see. I'm currently not in the circle. And
if I cut over here,
you're going to see that we're not present. And I'm going to go ahead and just tap and drop the pin back in here. And you can see instantly that updated to present. So that's how presence works, is you've got a device that basically just updates and says, I'm here or I'm not. And most importantly, we never transmit your location data. So we're keeping all the location data private. We're keeping it on the phone. And I think that's a key feature of our app comparatively to others. And just to give you a little background here, people, in fact, there was an article this week, and I completely lose me, I think it was the New York Times, talking about 4,500 apps that were discovered to be tracking your location. We simply do not track your location. All we do is send an entry or exit event directly to your hub. And so that's a key part of our overall strategy here with trying to keep your data as private as we can. And that's a key feature of the mobile app. So again, dashboards, geofencing, push notifications, and most importantly, I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's reported any issues that you've run into in the forums. We're actively fixing those bugs. We're working as fast as we can to get those things taken care of, and look for some updates from us on that side of things. Okay, well, on to what I hope is a great segment here. We're gonna call it Mike's Throwback Thursday. Mike, you've got a trip down memory lane set up here. I don't know if we can pin that. Perfect. Let's go to Mike's. So tell me what you got here, Mike.
Well, I basically went around about an hour ago and collected every single motion detector that I've had some level of experience with. Some of these I use to this day. Some of them just sit in boxes. The ones I like I use. The other ones just sit in boxes. And so I thought I'd go over as quickly as possible anyway, the thoughts that I've got on these things. They're currently lined up by the type of battery they use. I don't know if you can see the batteries, but they're lined up by the type of battery they use. No particular order. I have a particular preference for Zigbee motion detectors because they tend to be faster. There are a couple of Z-Wave motion detectors that are as fast as the Zigbee ones, but my preference is Zigbee, so most of the ones that you'll see here are Zigbee. Now, this thing is literally an antique. I mean, this is the first Aeon multi-sensor I think that they ever made. It's USB powered. It does lux and humidity and motion, and it doesn't do any of it well. So if somebody gives you one of these, don't ever buy one of these things. If somebody gives you one, this is what you need to do with it.
I have one of those, Mike.
Gotta file that away.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
gonna say, I ran on
In
like
fact-
4 AAA batteries.
I dislike that device so much right now. I only used it for about a year. USB powered. It does lux and humidity and motion, and it doesn't do any of it well. So if somebody gives you one of these, don't ever buy one of these things. If somebody gives you one, this is what you need to do with it.
Hey, Mike.
Why am I getting audio?
Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
that.
That is really weird.
I have one of those, Mike.
Has anybody got the YouTube?
I ran on like 4 AAA
In fact, I
batteries.
dislike that device so much right now. I only used it for about a year.
I don't know why we're looping audio here, but does anybody have the YouTube thing actually open?
Is that better?
I think so. Okay, Mike, go ahead and keep talking. Oh, we need to unmute Mike.
Oh,
Am I good? Am I
You're
good now?
Yep.
Go back to Dev Bunny because we're not
Dev
there.
Bunny's up. You're good.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. So this is a Z-Wave one. made by a company that I've renamed as Slow Control. And the only reason that I'll tell you the real name is Go Control is because I like the thermostat so much. This thing I hate. I don't, yes, it works. It's got battery life. I think it's got like a 3-minute timeout on motion or whatever. But I mean, look at the size of this thing. It's gigantic. I mean, only a mother could love this. Anyway, I mean, if you have no other choice, yes, it works, but in the bin. For Z-Wave sensors that are fast to respond, you guys have all seen this, the Fabaro. This is a really good sensor. I've got a bunch of these and I've had them from day one. They do real lux readings up to like 32K or something like that. Battery life is good. Good little guy. Not cheap, but a good sensor.
Hey, Mike, can you disable the LED light on that? Because that thing is freaky at night.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, even our built-in driver has that.
Awesome.
Plus, for you guys that are like, parameter tweakers, there's like a bazillion parameters. You can absolutely go nuts with this thing if you want to. We've got the short list of parameters in our driver. For the budget-conscious people looking for devices that no longer exist, this is my favorite. This is made by Centralite. It's a V1 motion sensor. It is without a doubt probably the second ugliest motion detector on the planet. However, you can't kill it. So this is a good candidate. I stick these in garages, in closets, in places where I don't care. Like I've got one sitting outside in the rain and I could care less about it, but it continues to work. So if you can pick these up on eBay and you don't care about the aesthetics or you want to stick them in a closet somewhere, this is a good choice. Like I said, you can't kill this thing. Another sensor that's not bad on the Z-Wave side is the Aeon, the newer Aeon multi-sensor. This thing's got USB power. It's got some cool mounting options. You can put it in a ceiling. They have a ceiling mount for it, so you can bury it so it's flush. Not a bad sensor. Again, my preference is Zigbee, so. This guy is without a doubt the single ugliest sensor. It's a Bosch sensor. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it's cheap. And I gotta be honest with you.
Smiling at me though.
What's that?
It seems to be smiling at me.
Yes, it is smiling at you. I dislike the looks of this thing so much that I put it outside in the rain, and it's not an outdoor sensor, and I can't kill it. So this thing is like awesome for driveways and backyards and stuff like that. It's got good battery life because it takes 4 AA's. I mean, you can see there's mold growing on it, right? And the thing still works.
You've taken this down.
What's that?
You took this down and you're actually showing us your actual outdoor motion sensor.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these I had to take off because they're actually in production.
That's awesome.
We've got the two Hue motion sensors. We've already had a review on this. We reviewed this one a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
This is their indoor version, which is a very capable sensor. But for $50 aesthetically, I don't really find it that amusing. So this wouldn't be one that I would buy for indoor use. Here's another Z-Wave sensor. I don't like this sensor at all. It's a Zeus. They're relatively inexpensive. I think I've got an early firmware version. It would not pair insecurely. It would only pair securely. I don't like this. I'm not getting down on the manufacturer, but I don't like the way it looks and I don't like the way it operates.
Just didn't float your boat.
No, didn't float my boat. I won't throw it out though because it's current production. Let's see what else we got. This one here, maybe you guys have not seen this. This is a kind of a newer company called AduroSmart. This is not a bad little sensor. Okay, it's kind of bigger than some of the other guys, but it's got some nice mounting options. It's the mounting plate's outside, but it's got a little swivel mount on it. It works fairly well, and the price point on it is reasonable for a Zigbee sensor. Let's see, what else did I talk about? This is a SmartThings. I think this is a V3. This is one of the SmartThings branded ones. This is not made by Centralite. Runs on a coin battery. This isn't as reliable as the Centralite branded ones. every so often this thing falls off the network and I have to do a battery pull on it, where I don't usually have that with other sensors of this type. So they don't make this any longer. It has now been replaced by this guy, which is the current Samsung sensor. And this one is good. It has a magnetic mount on the back, which is hovering over my keypad on my workstation. And it's not the smallest one around, but it's a, it's a decent sensor. This guy's everybody's favorite, including me. This is an Iris V2 centralite sensor. Unfortunately, these guys are no longer in business, but you can get these on eBay for a decent price. They've got good battery life. They're corner mountable, and I've had good luck with these. Sylvania makes has the same one. It's a slightly different case, but the guts on it are the same. This one is still available, but I suspect it won't be available for long. It's not as good looking as the Iris version of it, but it has the same functionality. This is a Centralite Series 3, and you ask yourself why they went out of business. I mean, seriously? What year is this? Look at the size of this thing. And you know what? It takes a coin battery. It's like, what the hell's in here? Whatever. Let's see. So, it's too bad you can't get this. This is an Iris V3. This thing's got humidity in it, right? This is the new one that's made by, some Chinese company. And I managed to get one of these before they pulled them from the shelf. But again, not the prettiest looking thing, but it's got humidity, which is relatively rare in motion sensors. So the last three I want to talk about, these three right here are all NYCE sensor.
And those are Zigbee, right?
Yes, these are all Zigbee. All the ones I've talked about are Zigbee so far. I mean, towards the end here.
Yep.
So this is a ceiling mount one. These are pretty nice. This got humidity. This is great. You put it up on your ceiling in your bathroom, right inside the door, because it's very sensitive. It'll actually pick up people walking by the door if you mount it too far away from the door opening. But you can use the humidity in here, you can use to automate your fan if you want, the bathroom fan. And these things purportedly have a 5-year battery life. I can't verify that, but I've yet to replace any batteries on mine. And some of these have been cooking along for at least 2 years now. So that's the ceiling mount. Then they've got the standard version. And the ceiling mount takes 2 AA's. Standard one, get my orientation here, takes one of these guys.
Is that a CR2?
Yeah, that is CR2. Of course, I picked one without a label on it. Yeah, CR2.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, Mike. I mean, you must have a ton of spare batteries here. So that's the hardest thing for me, is keeping track of all the batteries that all these things use.
Yeah, someday I'll show you my battery drawer. I've got every conceivable coin battery known to man. So this is their standard one. Again, this reports humidity. It's corner mount, right? These things aren't cheap, but there's a reason that they have a 5-year battery life and they're very reliable. They also have one called, the curtain sensor. It looks very similar, but you notice it has kind of like a shutter over the front a little bit. It's not adjustable, but this one's got the vertical beam spread on this or the horizontal beam spread on this is 20 degrees. So, the here to here, it's got a 20-degree beam spread, and going vertically, it's 80 degrees. So I actually have these covering a couple of openings without doors in them. And, the idea being is that it kind of discriminates stuff much past here. It's the same price as the other one. They're the only people that I know of that actually make something like this. I'm going to show you ones that I make. Just got to go fetch one, pull another one off the house. So Mike, I do something similar with the Iris ones. I take it apart and I put a piece of heat shrink tubing over the sensor, and I mount these underneath handrails.
Oh, nice.
on stairways. So when you walk through it, the cat and the dog don't trip it, but and they work really well. Occasionally, if you're wearing all black, it won't trip, but works pretty good.
So not for the goth people out there.
Oh, he's complaining because he's not connected.
Oh. So Mike, I have one that you don't have on your table there.
What's that?
So let's see if I can show you this here. This is
That's a Smart Things V1.
This is a V1 original Kickstarter kit version of the motion sensor here. So
I've got one too.
yeah.
And these things were really cool because they could be plugged in for power
Yeah.
with a USB.
And they were repeaters.
Yeah, so they were kind of neat.
So yeah, that's
Another
pretty
one
much.
you don't have, Mike.
Yep.
That's a Lutron motion sensor. They call it occupancy sensor. Unfortunately, these only work with radio raw 2. They do not work with raw 2 select, at least not with Hubitat. They don't report through Telnet.
Us poor people can't afford those, Bruce.
10-year battery life, man. That's the reason to get them. But
Cool. Chuck, you got any?
And for the peanut gallery, how much is that?
they're like 65 or 70 bucks.
Oh, that's not
That's not
horrible.
bad. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well,
The
you
nices
get
are
that
what,
back on
50?
batteries, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ROI is pretty good on a 10-year. I mean, heck, some of that Aeon sensor I was replacing, that first one you showed, the Gen 1, I was replacing batteries like every 3 months on that thing.
I have motion sensors in my garage and they're battery powered and the batteries last about 6 months because it's so friggin' hot
Oh yeah.
in the garage in Arizona that forget it. It's like a stupid thing to do. I'm thinking I won't even keep replacing batteries.
So that's all Dev Bunny's got on motion detectors. If anybody's got any questions about specific ones or anything, we'd be glad to ask. But.
Yeah, so that's a perfect transition here, Mike. We are nearing the end of the show, so let's go ahead and go over to the chat. Actually, I'm going to take this in reverse order. Mikey3 asked, what's your rating for the Iris V1 motion sensor? No comment?
All right. I got one here. Okay. I mean, personally, this thing, it qualifies for something that only a mother could love. If you have them and you're happy with the way they work on Hubitat, go ahead and use them. I wouldn't buy one only because it's it's kind of a bizarre protocol, and we got it working, but that's about all I'm going to be able to. There's not much else we can do with it.
Yeah, and we're the only, as far as I know, we're the only shipping Hubitat, or Hubitat is the only shipping home automation platform that actually supports the Iris V1 motion sensors, contact sensors. You haven't gotten around to keypads yet, have you?
No.
The one thing I didn't show you guys was Xiaomi.
That thing's tiny. I mean, that is the size of a quarter, right?
And when they finally change their name to Show Me Zigbee certification, I'll be really interested in it.
So Mike 3 had a follow-up question. What would you upgrade it? If you had Iris V1s, what would you recommend?
Well, if you're an eBay shopper, I would get any of the ones that I already recommended.
So the Iris, or
yeah, the Iris V2s are good. I would definitely go with Zigbee. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of options right now, for Zigbee ones.
yeah.
So
Other than the Fabaro, right? That's your recommendation.
yeah, that one's kind of, for the average person, that one's pretty much overkill.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, it's overkill. It does hide well in corners because it's round like that. But it's overkill. The Sylvania one, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the same guts as the Iris V2. It's not as pleasant looking. So, and then that other one that I showed you, the Adura Smart, if this guy was a little bit smaller, he's pretty big. He's a pretty big boy.
Mm-hmm.
And the LED on this, by the way, blinks with motion, and you can't turn it off. At least not. I don't know how to turn it off yet.
Soldering iron?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't have that much patience.
Anything can be solved with duct tape, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what other questions we have. I'm not sure the context of this because it was early on in the thing, but Brave Majesty asked about what about an auto update option? I'm going to take a guess at that and think that's updating the hub automatically. And we made a decision and we think this is a feature that you control when you update. But we understand that there may be some people out there that want to always have the latest and greatest. So I'm not sure if we'll ever do that. Maybe Chuck, you can weigh in on that, or Bruce. But I think the important part here is that you determine when you want to update, if you want to update.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think that would be great. I can certainly put it on the feature request list.
Cool. All right. We'll skip all the stuff about questions about why they couldn't see it in my screw ups there. So, John Grish, hey man,
Wait,
how
why
you
can't I
doing?
see the screen?
Yeah, they couldn't see it. I understand. John Grish asked, can we force departed and arrival like the Life 360 connector? No, that's not a feature yet. So you can't mark the mobile app device away comparatively to what the state of the mobile device is. You could use an intermediary like a virtual presence sensor if you wanted to match that up. But currently the driver doesn't support that. Thanks to Canada Experience for asking this. He says he's got a question. This is actually a really good question. All of them are great questions, by the way. But how does the hub connect to the cloud? He says you claim that the hub is mostly local, but the location needs to be transmitted to the hub. Is it encrypted? So I don't know, Chuck, do you want to take this one? You want to kind of explain how the hub can work locally, but also take advantage of the cloud services?
Sure. Yeah. If you have an internet connection, then the hub will connect to our servers. It maintains a secure connection. And then with the app, with dashboards, with presence, that app will push a message to our servers, which will find your hub and push the message down to your hub. Obviously, those things won't work unless your hub is connected to the internet and your app is also connected. But everything is secure, so it's nothing sent in plain text.
Yeah. And by the way, Canada Experience, thanks for your follow-up. He said our hub is amazing. Coming from Home Assistant, it is so much better. Tell all your friends. Tell all those Home Assistant folks too. Come on over. The water's fine. And let's see. We got a few other things. We already covered that. John Grish just got the Wise motion sense. It is the smallest one out there. Unfortunately, it's completely proprietary, so not much we can do about that.
Is that the one that's 433 megahertz?
No, it's actually it's 900. It's actually a Zigbee, but they put their own Zigbee stack on it basically. So it's a proprietary version of Zigbee. It doesn't conform to ZHA.
Does it join?
I don't know. If
it joins, we can make it work.
You just saw live on Hubitat Live, Mike's going, another project. So you can. So John's got a good point. You can use it with Hubitat, obviously through IFTTT, and that's a great point. And again, going back to the cloud connection, we do have a built-in built-in integration with IFTTT, and anything that can talk to IFTTT, you can integrate around to us here from that side of things. That is a cloud connection, obviously, so your internet does have to be up and working. Mikey B. Mantle's got a support question here. I'm happy to talk about any tips on getting my phone presence to communicate with the hub again. Unfortunately, I can't really support you on the call here. I'd encourage you to either reach out in our community. We've got a thread of people who will help you. There's a super long forum post on some tips and tricks. The reality is sometimes it might just be as simple as logging out and logging back in. A couple other people have had some help. I know you didn't specify which Android or iOS, but I'll cover another little helpful tip. Some people have had success, depending on the model of phone, toggling Wi-Fi on and off. We're not exactly sure why that's working, but some people have reported success in getting the presence to report. And lastly, the one area that, especially on Android, we're looking to improve this, is go into settings and select select hub, and then pick your actual hub, and then pick the actual presence device, the mobile app device that shows up. And that should reinforce the behavior here. we're working to tighten that up. We know that certain devices out there aren't working to our expectations. But of course, I think the last time I looked in Android, there were 8,000 some different devices that we support. I can tell you, if you're running a Pixel 3 XL, mine works except tonight. Now, keep in mind, all of this is dependent on not only your internet connection from your phone, but also the hub connected through the cloud. So if there's any interruption in between there, messages may not get through. And so that's one of the things that we're looking to improve later on down the line, is a way to make sure that we can queue up and synchronize. Right now, it's a fire and hope that it gets to the hub. We're working on ways to improve that. The other thing that you should notice, and I really want to give a huge shout out to Chuck for his hard work on this, is all of the cloud endpoints should be responding significantly faster if you're on our 2.1 software, which we rolled out I think last week. So if you're on 2.1 and you're using Maker API dashboard, rule machines, extended cloud endpoints, things should be moving a lot faster. One last question before we wrap up here. Mikey3's got another question. What's your thoughts on using PoE adapters with the hub? He said he picked one up and is powering it from. Yeah, I actually picked up 2 recently. I haven't had a chance to test them out, but there's some really inexpensive 1 amp micro USB adapters for the hub for our Model C5. I don't see why that wouldn't work. Bruce, do you have any thoughts on that? That should power it just fine, right? Oh, can you unmute, Bruce?
Yeah. No, that should work fine. It only draws well less than an amp.
Yeah. And
I have a passive PoE injector, and I've been using it for probably about a year at this point.
Awesome.
Working great.
Yeah. John Grish gave us a little comment, says, Present's been working better than Life 360 for the last 2 days. Good to hear. A lot of people are seeing good stuff, and some aren't. And John's got a question on Z-Wave polling. I'm not sure exactly the context, but one device is not polling, all the others are. Again, John, the only thing I can probably recommend, maybe Mike or somebody else could pop in, but run a Z-Wave repair. See if that device is actually communicating. It might have fallen off the mesh. That'd be one way to start. But I'm not sure why one device wouldn't be polling. Polling is only just calling that refresh, right, Mike?
Yeah, it basically asks for a report. So
yeah,
the device isn't getting the report, or the report isn't getting back to the hub.
Yeah, so you could try
mesh it. It's probably a mesh issue.
Yeah, mesh issue. Yeah. Wow, that's a tongue twister. It's like saying unique New York 5 times fast. John, you said you did that. Yeah. The other option, and it's kind of a nuclear option, is you could try excluding and re-adding the device to see if it works there, or factory reset it, I should say. But unfortunately, I think we're all out of time here for tonight. But it's the one closest to the hub too. Yeah. I feel your pain there. Sometimes these mesh issues and devices issues, they're tough to troubleshoot. But I would try the refresh in the device, see if it's updating manually, and if not, then it's just not communicating. And so the next best option is to potentially just remove it and see if it'll pair up again. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of Hubitat Live. Please join us for the next show in 2 weeks from tonight. Also, the show will be available via podcast at live.hubitat.com. We did have a little technical glitch, so episode 2 is not up yet, but hopefully we'll get that up this weekend. And you can find the podcast anywhere. You can download and listen to podcasts. As always, join us in our community at community.hubitat.com or the official Facebook group. Again, thanks to Bruce, Chuck, and Mike for joining us tonight, and everybody in the chat room. We appreciate it. We appreciate your questions. We appreciate your commitment to Hubitat. And just, to end, we all use Hubitat ourselves. We not only use it in our homes, but we write our code on it. It's an awesome platform. We love it. We hope you do too. And if you want to be a guest on Hubitat Live, drop me a note in the community. Email me at patrick@hubitat.com. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, thanks.
Oh my God, there's mold growing on